everybody. Welcome to Nerds with Dice. We are here tonight for the finale of our game, Knights, a tabletop RPG made by Armored Gaming, a game inspired by Arthurian legend and folklore of Avalon. It's about following knights on their stories of questing across the realm, upholding vows, gaining glory, and all the ups and downs that come with it. So before we jump right in, we are sponsored by Grounding Co. Coffee, a Black and LGBTQ plus coffee company. So check them out and use the link in chat or the code Gunmetal Blues to get 10% off. Also, we have merch. The channel has merch. So you can find also those links in chat also. Or, check out Nerds W Dice on Twitter for everything else. It's how it goes. So if you haven't guessed by this point in our story, I am Natalie. I am RGM. She, they, and then all the pronouns in between for our characters. But that's just me. Let's go to our players. Let me pick on the person that wasn't here last week. Gina.
Oh no. Hi, I'm Gina, she, her. I play Dame Gwendolyn. Yeah, that's it. That's all I gotta say for the introduction. Imagine we're gonna do the thing later.
All right, beautiful. Julie.
I'm Jilly, aka Oh Look It's Jilly on the internet, and I'm playing Neve, who is a worshiper Morgan even. And yes, she's doing her best. TM.
Yes, we all trying to do our best. All right, Sophia.
I'm Sophia. The pronouns, sure, something. I play Nasir. His pronouns are he, him. Yeah.
All right, awesome. And then finally, Nox.
Hi, my cat is losing her shit right now. Can you?
She's on the good stuff.
Oh my god, y'all.
She got into the nip.
I post a video on Twitter, but I have a feeling people wouldn't know what she's rolling in. So anyways, hi, I'm Nox, she, her, and I play Lady Heloise Carlos, who also worships Morgan and also uses she, her, hers. And my cat Hazel will most likely constantly make an appearance.
We decided she is the Moracat.
She is the Moracat.
Yeah. All right. So as we dive back into our story here, as just transparency for our audience, I rewarded glory earlier as we have a lot of ground to cover in the story for our finale. And I want to make sure we give a lot of breathing room to our knights here. So for our knights, do you have any ideas of where you want to spend your glory for possibly the last time?
I do.
All right, Neve, you can go first.
Inspired by my dear friend Gwendolyn, who knows lore and stuff, I want to build a giant library and university, which I can spend some glory on because I have lots of glory to spend, not to brag. And so I want to, because all of the different things I've been researching, I think Neve is just like, this would be so much more convenient if I could just go to one place and all the knowledge was centrally located in a building with lots of books. And then someone's like, you mean a library? And she's like, that's a great idea, me. Let's build a library. And so I'm going to build a giant library university.
All right. So I think for that, we're probably talking about 5 glory to build the library.
Great. Take it. It's yours.
So you have library being built up, getting in various scribes to because back in these times there's no printing of books. They have to write them by hand. So you have lots of individuals writing books being borrowed from other fiefdoms, as well as any books being donated or submitted to the library to build it up. But you have a library to your specifications that Elf very dutifully relayed, as you relay to him. And yeah, you got a wonderful library standing within the shadows of your main living home.
And I think that Neve is sort of like a nightmare to deal with on this because she's trying to be very helpful, but knows literally nothing about architecture. So she's like, I think that there should be like a moat. Like you just sometimes need a moat. You know how like moats can be really good for like ambiance and like vibes. And and then the next day is like, no, no, they're so passe. Now we should have towers, lots of towers. Can the towers get like wider as they like like you're reaching for the sky? How about it shaped like a dolphin?
Yeah, the architects are struggling with your demands. Some of them try very kindly to steer you to something more practical and within their means and within the budget.
I think that Neve is very easily convinced that whatever the finished product is was her idea, so it's fine.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Who would like to go next?
I'll go next. So okay, hear me out. I feel like Heloise would be trying to do the most, knowing her. So I think at her sister's request that she would want to hire some soldiers, not like a large amount of soldiers, but that she would want to. I'm looking at like the one that would cost 3.
Yeah.
A small band of warriors to accompany her, and that would definitely be her sister being like, "No, you're doing this." And I feel like she would want to reach out to Neve to make sure she would be okay with her offering Reggie like a full-time permanent position in her fiefdom, to start. God damn it, Hazel. to for fuck's sake. To start like because in her fiefdom there's, you can be a like counselor, you can be a doctor, you could be there's like different paths. She wants to add a magician, like a mage path, where like you can learn magic that was kind of just passed down, like you could practice that more openly. Which I thought would be kind of like the 5 or the 10 mark. I wasn't sure how much it would cost that. So first reaching out to Neve and then reaching out to Reggie to see if he'd be cool with it, because she's now
I
kind of
think
fond of Reggie.
Neve is like, of course, whatever you want, Reggie, but also we should get you like for 1 week every summer. Like she treats this like a custody arrangement where it's like,
Neve is the
As
some,
PTO,
the
so he can
vacation
go
dad.
visit.
yeah, Neve is vacation dad, for sure. Um, I also really love that we just every so often hear like skimper, 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 meow, skimper, 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 meow.
She's tearing up my room.
Yeah, the signs of Morgan have been very strong lately. All right. Yeah, so those are very much doable. You get a good band of warriors that, yeah, your sister make sure they don't leave you alone when you venture out. And yeah, Reggie's more than happy to hang around with leave of his lady, now to become under another lady. All right. So that leaves Gwendolyn and Nasir. If either one of you want to go first.
I would like to ask my dad if he would let me have Alacrity, our battle axe. Please.
All right. So
I'm
this
very
will be
cute
linked
about it.
to our recap as we're going to go into it because we
Yes.
didn't touch on a recap yet for this.
Yes.
So for our audience, Dame Gwendolyn has been on a very personal quest during, which is why they weren't here last week. And she has been hunting down the family boar, not to kill, but to obtain and safeguard and bring back into the fiefdom. And she did wonderfully with some minor complications, but she was able to subdue the boar and gain what she earned. And with that, of course, the ultimate approval from her father. So with
The most
his
important thing.
the most important thing. With a heart full of pride, and though he doesn't show it on his face, he just gives a stern nod of his head and presents the axe to you.
I'm very, very like about it. Like that's her like inside. She is very much like her at times her father's daughter, and she is also very stoic about this, very like gracious, and but on the inside she's like, so now she has this ancestral battle axe that is on our family coat of arms named Alacrity, which it's the most important thing that's ever going to happen to her. Like anything else is bonus at this point, so we all know that. For the audience at home in bookkeeping, that is acquiring a fine weapon with 3 glory for our bookkeeping.
And your squire Sig is just like trying not to show of any like happy emotions, because now he feels like he's gonna have a harder time to be annoying to you and pick at you, because now you got your father's like ultimate approval that everybody saw, and you're carrying the family axe. So he's just like, damn it.
He could call me pompous now. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm pretentious
My grand
now.
pompous knight. At your service. All right. So that leaves Nasir. Is there anything you wish to spend your glory on before we get into it?
So last episode, Nasir pretty much set things up so that his fiefdom would be doing great when he left. So I think he's kind of out of ideas, and he might be just kind of going around asking the villagers, like, "Do you want anything? Do you need anything? Is there anything we haven't covered here?" In kind of a hapless fashion.
Yeah, for sure. Some will mention maybe more some stoned structures to safeguard like the stores, like the food stores. Because sometimes the wood can collapse over time, so having something a little more solid can help with that. Or even like some basic fencings, because a lot of times the farmers make up their own fencing, but of course they're not necessarily carpenters by trade. And always supporting getting more seeds for future farming or cattle. Anything like that is always helpful.
Yeah, I think he would yeah, so he could definitely, he already did some grain storage. But yeah, could maybe set up some trade routes so that seeds are more easily obtained. Which might, I don't really know. That might require hiring people who are good at that sort of thing. And then yeah, build some stone structures. And I'm just kind of looking at the glory and being like, damn, there's so much glory left. What am I gonna do with all of this?
Yeah.
And then I mean, he already has his one expert on supernatural stuff, but I think he would probably it would need to spend some more glory and talk to some more experts to do the specific thing that he is planning to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I think is probably 3 glory. That's
yeah. So yeah, 3 glory for specials, and then another 3 for like maybe some like fortification of the farm storage and seeds, and setting up the routes. Up the river is Heloise's kingdom. So you can do like a direct path up to her kingdom or her fiefdom. You're also off from the ocean, so you can easily make sure the ports are large enough for more trade by waters to come in. So your fiefdom is very much flourishing because you've been putting a lot of care into what they essentially represent, which is agriculture. So you're definitely getting a huge buildup of trade happening here.
Hey.
So with our glory figured out, let's recap a little bit and jump around into the details of what has been going on. So last time, 3 of our knights, Neve, Heloise, and Nasir, went on the quest to find a sacred iron sword that has existed from the ancient age. They were notified by Dame Gwendolyn of the possibility of where it would be, while she herself had to take time to do her own questing and training to prepare to bring that blade to a woman who can bless it properly for their final act. On this path, they met a older woman in a farmstead, who they later, at least Heloise knew for sure, was the Morrigan, who was sort of seeing them often and sort of blessing on towards this upcoming fight with a undead creature. And they did find it up in the northwestern areas of Avalon, a giant, half giant revenant roaming, carrying what to the party would be a giant axe, sword, but to the giant, a mere short sword. So a mix of Neve going in first with her bow, some more restrictive magics out of Heloise, and Nasir directing the sort of a company of men to be on the defensive. The group did eventually subdue the creature, and with Neve's final ritual, release the soul that got attached to the undead body, so that they may move on in freedom and peace to the next life. With Sorp obtained, some thoughts exchanged. The knights returned back to their fiefdoms until the final word from Gwendolyn could be had. So we're going to go to Gwendolyn, which we did touch on a little bit, that Gwendolyn was going off on her quest for her family boar and finally earning the family axe. How was your adventure, Gwendolyn?
I think it was actually quite, like, other than whatever complications had happened, because I'm not sure what they are, I feel like it was not super eventful. It's like when you read like these poems, it's like that thing where like, and then they went through the forest and stuff happened. It's because it's not super eventful. It's a lot of just like, it's mostly tracking. It's very boring, actually. It's not very exciting. Which I think to someone like her age is a little disappointing, like when you're in the process of doing it, because things that are important are not exciting. You're just going around, like listening to the woods and whatever divination and whatever like magical inspiring that you do, and then you keep doing that. It would be disappointing if she hadn't succeeded, because it's not fun, I think. So, but she's forgotten that it's not exciting because she has seen this boar. Importantly, she has also gotten voluntarily a handful of bristles from the boar's fur. I think she has one of them made into like a little comb. Like bristle. It's a bristle, so it's not like. But she has like a little like wooden comb, and then she has a bristle set along the spine of it. I think that's what she has. So she has that in her hair now. Very proud of it. She has the other bristles for she doesn't know what at this point. Yeah, I think this is why we have skipped it in our grand tale of retelling it, because it's like that in my mind, that is what has happened.
Yeah, and you did have the hunter specialist with you.
Ooh,
was
yes.
able to speak of, yes, Lady or Dame Gwendolyn did do all of this, him sort of as a witness. And yeah, where you feel like that lead up was the most uneventful, because just walking through the woods, maybe at some point you tripped over root and tried to quickly correct yourself. Or maybe you just forget to act like a knight because you only have this other hunter with you.
Yeah, it's like
so why not be a little free? But you do find the boar and you come back with the bristles in hand, awarded with your family axe. And you continue the training on what you need to know to meet the woman in the deep woods of your fiefdom that your father had mentioned could bless the blade. And he does impart to you some things. Him, along with some of the more mystic elders of your family and fiefdom, has told you that in order to find this woman, you do need to wander the woods and keep your intentions true, so that the circular gate can open before you, and it will just look like these twisting roots and vines when you find it. And then once you do, with your bristles, which make sure you go out on a full moon because that's the best time to get it to appear. They tell you to blow from your palm some of the bristles across into the gate. And the poem that you are told says, hold your breath to count of 3, turning thrice in place counter. So to go counterclockwise, you turn. Step with heart first, breach the gate, and let not the whispers sway you. Stay true to path, eyes on the end, and you will find what you seek. Keep your desires in mind, speak only truth, and be given what you need.
Hold breath 3 times. Counterclockwise thrice. Don't be swayed by the whispers. Eyes forward. Speak only truth. That's what she took away from that.
Yep, the important bullet points.
Any details she didn't get? She didn't get.
There you go. I'm a kind GM. I will remind you if there's anything. I assume your knights will know for sure. We'll be able to keep true to all that.
Yeah.
So, with all that in mind, you are now feeling very prepared and very confident. So you're sort of in a moment of waiting for your other knights and hearing of what has happened on their adventure. You do get word back that the sword was claimed, which I believe is with Heloise. I think because you were the one that picked it up. So you do learn of that. So you send out letters to say that you are prepared and for everyone to come to your fiefdom. Now with that, we're going to track a little bit and go over to Nasir. In this moment with Nasir, you are in a clearing, and this is after many nights of contemplation, of discussion with Ryan and with your sister, Nazade. I said that right? Nazade? Okay. As your feelings on the whole, all the situations in the quest, you were feeling like there's not much here on the material side you can do, and all you want is to try and get your husband, and you know your husband can handle this a lot better than you. So how are we finding Nasir in a moment where you are setting up in a clearing with Ryan just back, not quite out of sight, but waiting?
So I actually, given the nature of this, do not think Azade would be there. Very possible Nasir simply did not tell Azade what he was about to do and maybe left her a letter or something. But yeah, I do think Ryan would be there. I think Nasir has set up a circle of protection and he is trying very hard to seem calm, but he is also scared out of his mind and sad and just kind of, yeah, shaking a little while trying to save face. And he's praying, just kind of kneeling there and praying.
All right. So, Nasir, you hear just the soft humming from, your friend, your bounded brother, here to support you and what is about to be done. Because he knows he can't be directly beside you, but he wants you to know he is there for you and supports you through this. You take what you've learned from Dame Gwendolyn on the ritual. You take from what you learned from the specialists on what you need to do. All the things to make this the best possible outcome. And you think you have it right. And you know this will help because you're about to call upon the one person that can take this up while you support from another place.
He kind of smiles at Ryan. Thank you for everything. And then closes his eyes, and he doesn't, he's read and memorized and thought of these words over and over and over and over again. But when they actually come out, they don't sound like his voice. They sound wrong. Um, I didn't actually think of words. I'm just gonna make something up. And they get faster and faster and sound less and less and less like him. And the wind starts to pick up. And then what?
Yes. So you are calling upon a very powerful and ancient magic, but with all the support, with knowing of how to keep your intentions there and present and true. You stick to what it is that you know in your heart. Now, to change the point of view, as we pull back from Nasir, determined and entering that sort of rhythmic nature of almost it being not so much mindless, but is just happening. We are seeing the point of view from someone in a space that is surreal. It is comfortable, not really a sense of hot or cold, but it is a comfortable space. There is light and just a feeling of being present. And from their point of view, they just start to begin to hear this rhythmic voice that's building and getting a little faster and faster. And then it begins to click into them who that voice belongs to. And suddenly their heart feels pulled in that direction. You know who this is in your heart. You know exactly who this is, and you need to get to them. You need to find them. You need to meet them. You feel like you're jettisoned forward. But as you are jettisoned forward, another voice is coming in closer and closer until it feels like it's about to rush past you. In this moment, what would Nasir like to say to his husband before he switches places?
I'm not sure if I should say, how dare you, or I'm sorry, but I miss you. I've been missing you.
I know I shouldn't laugh, but objectively,
So that sentence of Nasir sort of washes over you as your love passes you by, but the emotion,
Fuck.
everything there as you are launched forward into this new space, one you don't recognize, and you immediately see your brother running towards you.
What? Where? Why is it so fucking cold here? Where's Nasir?
And Ryan immediately hugs you tightly.
What is going on?
There's a lot to explain. And he pulls off his cloak and puts it around you.
It's so foggy. Where are we?
Well, you're back in Avalon. I don't know if you understand where you were. We've been working for many, many months to get you back. Yeah.
Avalon, the like the island over the. What? Okay, explain it to me in tiny words like I'm 5. Also, do you have any food? I'm starving.
Yeah. And he like pulls out a pouch that has like a mixture of like seeds and dried fruits and stuff that he hands to you.
I forgot what food tasted like.
Yeah, you were taken to the Feywild, apparently.
Yeah, I remember that part.
Yeah, Nasir wanted you back badly, which understandable, we all did. We were requesting
Where is he?
You swapped.
I beg your fucking pardon. How did wait, no. What?
He felt you would be better as a knight than him, and
I'm
that
sorry,
he can support.
Knight?
Oh, this is a lot of story.
Wait, was Nasir a knight?
Yeah, he got knighted and took on. They
Nasir
call it
who apologized to Herbs when we picked them to make salad with. was a knight? Like, did he have a sword?
Yeah, and he gestures to the pile of equipment and the horse. He decided Spock will be the heir for the time being. So I don't really know what that means. I'm assuming we're just going to finish the quest.
The quest to do what?
Um, my understanding is to stop an evil, somewhat fae-related darkness that was trying to release itself. There's a sword that we have to get blessed. I think I saw the letter from Lady Gwendolyn.
These swords? Lady who?
Or Dame Gwendolyn. No, Dame Gwendolyn. I'll explain things more, but we need to get you properly clothed and properly
Really nice
fed
sword,
and
actually. Okay, but sorry. I'm having there's a lot going on. Yes, I would love some clothes. The Seer can't but you can how did that's not possible. You can't.
I don't fully understand it. I just know Nasir worked with some of the more spiritual people of this realm, and they figured out the right spell work to make this exchange.
Nasir, what did you do? Okay, no. See, the thing about the trade is I wasn't the so I'm sorry. I should have. Okay, you're going to be mad at me about this. I kind of thought I was going to die, and then obviously I didn't die, but I don't. There's not. Jesus. I guess he wouldn't be saying Jesus. They wouldn't.
You're just calling your friend Jesus.
Yeah,
That's his name.
friend Jesus.
Friend Jesus.
Okay. Clothes.
Yeah, let's
Good
get you
idea.
clothed and we can explain more.
Oh God, everything about this is the stupidest thing about this, except the sword. I like the sword.
Yeah, their weapons are kind of nice here.
Did Nasir wield a sword?
Oh no, he never raised it. No.
Yeah. Okay. So
brand
okay.
new.
That's yeah. This seems like it would have been way too heavy for him. He's just got a sword fighting. I don't think he has any clothes on. He's still a little out of it.
Yeah, he can walk free in the Feywild. No one cares. But yeah, so you get gathered up, properly clothed, and you're explained everything about what has gone down since you've been gone, essentially, from Nasir becoming a knight to the recent questings on who Dame Gwendolyn and Lady Neve and Lady Heloise is, and what the quest pertained to around it all. Which now I guess we can fast forward a little bit here, as
do we know we're meeting someone else?
Yeah, I was gonna say, is this gonna be new?
You all get a letter from Nazade explaining that so they're sending someone forth in Nasir's place is all you get, and that though he wishes he can be there physically to support you, he knows of some other ways.
Okay.
Unless, Sophia, if you want anything to speak to that, if Nasir would send any letters or anything, or tell her, his sister specifically what to say.
Yeah, he had written a letter. I think. I guess I could read the letter. That makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure. Where did it go?
I'll say maybe your sister didn't realize exactly what it pertains to until after it happened. So this letter catches up basically at the same time the other letter meets everybody.
Please do not take my choice as deliberate self-immolation. I simply recognize that I owe you an explanation. When we first met, I did something I had never done before. I attacked a living being who had not attacked me first. I wanted to rescue the villagers the tree had trapped, but even when they were free, we still killed the tree. When we last met, we attacked a creature who had done nothing to us, and my failure was double. In defending you, I participated in an unjust fight. In refusing to do more, I betrayed Lady Heloise's trust and allowed Harden to come to Neve. As much as I love each of you individually, I cannot continue like this. And I cannot continue to pretend that passive defense is a meaningful middle ground when in truth I'm betraying my values and betraying you. Blah, 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 blah. This letter is longer than I thought it was. He goes on to say more words. The main point is, I admit I have considered stealing the sword and attempting this quest on my terms, but I am not arrogant enough to assume I can succeed. And if I fail and the sword is lost, then I have robbed Dame Gwendolen of her chance to make her father proud, Lady Heloise of her service to her goddess, and Lady Neve of... Well, I admit Lady Neve's motivations puzzle me. In the end, I refuse every option. I will not give up every value I hold dear. I will not endanger the people in my fiefdom. I will not risk losing the sword that, after all, I did not retrieve. And I certainly will not walk away and leave my husband behind. After months of research, I have discovered another option. Please know that I treasure all of you.
Neve is extremely confused by this letter. Everything about this is confusing. But she's got the spirit. So we're meeting. I feel like we should maybe check on Monsieur at some point. Maybe like some kind of like party to make Nasir feel better. Like snack foods or anyway, probably after the quest, but we should check in about that. Alf, write that down. We're gonna throw a party for Nasir. I wonder who they're sending instead. I wonder what their favorite snack is. Gwendolyn? Gwendolyn?
Am I physically there?
I hope so, or I'm just screaming your name into the void.
We can say at least because Neve and Gwendolyn, your fiefdoms aren't too far, so maybe Neve could have been there first, followed by Heloise.
Yes.
So this new person, do you know who this person is? Because you know things.
I do not. I know as much as you do.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Maybe a little more, but basically as much on this topic.
Ghosty, we're gonna make a new friend!
Right. So the knights begin gathering one by one, Neve already present with Gwendolyn, and eventually by Heloise. So the last troop to come is what you knew as Nasir's. So as this new company comes in and joins you in Gwendolyn's fiefdom, Sophia, if you'd like to explain who it is they see in the armor that once belonged to Nasir, and who are they named? Who does your squire say or announce as you are?
This is so embarrassing. I forgot Nasir's last name, but it's definitely the same last name as Nasir.
Be like
oh,
that.
Was it Shamsaldin? Okay. So they announced the name Farouk Shamsaldin. I don't think it's Nasir's armor because Farouk is about twice the size of Nasir. He's very muscular. He's only moderate. He's like tallish. He's like medium tall. He is extremely good looking. Like he's so good looking that you have a moment of like, people don't look like that. That's not what cheekbones do. But he also does look like he could beat the shit out of you. And he also looks like he wants to beat the shit out of everything. And like this armor is extremely uncomfortable. And also when he gets announced, he's like, it's not pronounced like that.
How much taller than Gwendolyn is he? Like just for reference.
How tall is Gwendolyn?
She's like 5 flat.
He's about a foot taller than Gwendolyn. Yeah.
Oh god. Okay.
I think Neve immediately goes up with Ghosty and introduces herself, and she just says, "You are very handsome." And it's not like an attempt at seduction or anything. It is an objective statement of fact that Neve feels that he needs to know.
I'm aware, thank you. Who are you?
Oh, I'm Lady Neve.
Oh, right, yes, the confusing one. I think my husband liked you.
I'm an enigma.
That is not how Ryan described you.
Well, I'm not sure whether to be complimented by that or not, so I'm just going to choose to be. This is Ghosty. Ghosty is my loyal steed.
Hello, loyal steed.
Would you like a piece of apple?
Yeah, I'm starving.
Okay. And like this is like clearly an apple that was meant for the horse that has been broken up into pieces that Neve gives you.
We also feed some to the horse.
It's very
yes,
nice.
I will feed some to the horse. I'm not a monster. I'm just very hungry. I haven't been in like 6 months. Right. So you're Neve, and there's also Gwen something. And I don't remember the third one. She sounded cool.
Yeah, Ryan kind of steps up, is like, it's Dame Gwendolyn and Lady Heloise.
Not gonna remember that.
Okay.
Here's what I do. So you could say Heloise is like hella wise, like if someone's wise, but the amount of wise is like hella, like a unit measurement. I have a friend from a town named Northern California, and they say that all the time.
God damn it, Julie.
It's canon. I've said it. It's canon.
The fiefdom of Northern California.
Sure.
Avalon be getting weird in the late period.
Yeah, things are happening, things are changing, and
We're world
I
building here,
realize
people.
he's late, but Farouk probably has a much thicker accent than Nasir did.
Did Farouk bring any company outside of his squire? Is there any men that he brought with him, or warriors?
So Nasir's letter very explicitly stated that he does not want any men or any of the soldiers to from his fiefdom to die on his account, because they're an agricultural fiefdom. They're not meant to be fighters. I suspect that several people went along anyway, and that Farouk was kind of like, yeah, that's what happens when Nasir meets people. They decide to die for him. He's not going to argue on that.
Yeah. So yeah, you do have a few that did want to follow in your steps. You did catch an eye of one individual. They sort of have a medium toned skin, some moles underneath the eye, and they keep like eyeing you. And then the second you turn your head in their direction, they just look away. And then they sort of start to blink and look in your direction again, and then look away. They weren't about to say no to traveling with you.
Yep, that happens to me a lot. You, the tiny one. Are you Dame Gwenda something?
Yes, hello. I am Dame Gwendolyn Ignavel, and this is my home, my family's home. We are very pleased to meet you. Please come in. We shouldn't be talking out on the doorstep.
Sure,
despite some people's insistence.
He's getting off. He really does not like his armor, so he's kind of walking like there's like anyone's gonna stab me on my way here.
They might.
Oh well, I would stab them back.
Fair. That seems like a fair trade.
I think so.
I do think if someone stabs you, you should be able to stab them back. I think that's fair.
That's my general policy. One time a guy stabbed Nasir and Nasir did not stab him back. That did not end well for the guy in question because I was there. But I don't think Nasir liked that.
I think
she's like slowly ushering them in while they're talking.
Yeah.
Walk and talk, folks. That's what she's like. Because we're at a timetable.
Neve knows that Ghosty is not allowed inside. And so is doing in war dramas when you say goodbye at the train station and it's like whole, I'll remember you, all right, but Ghosty's like going to the stable.
is like right there holding the reins. He's just like watching you.
You're gonna see this horse in an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be good. Make good decisions. I love you. And then, like, eventually she follows.
Really like that horse, huh?
Ghosty is an extremely, extremely talented adventurer.
Sure. Yeah. Cool.
Just doesn't like mountains very much.
There's a lot of mountains here.
Well, that's not his fault.
But couldn't you've gotten a horse that does like mountains?
But Ghosty's my horse.
Okay. Sure. You know what? I'm fine. Yep.
I'm glad we understand each other.
All right. You all gather inside, and I'm guessing would Heloise be just sitting inside waiting for everyone to regroup?
We're
At
gonna
the
say
dining
that because
table.
Nox, the player, is dying from everything that just happened. Sophia, you're fucking amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so you all gather in the hall. First experience for Farouk, which different feeling. This is a very well established fiefdom with a more kind of well established family structure of stone here. And lots of symbols of like the battle axe, which now you see is upon Gwendolyn's side, is a similar looking battle axe to the coat of arms here.
It might be like as broad as her shoulders. She's not a very wide person.
So the axe that's bigger, well, not actually bigger than you, but you know what I mean. The axe that's like you size. That's that axe.
Yes, it's alacrity. It's our ancestral. It's very important.
Alacrity.
Alacrity. It needs to
Alacrity.
be prepared and alert.
Right. Do you know how to? Does it hurt when you swing your arms?
We trained for it.
That's pretty bitchin'.
I like to think that also the it's not like all natural hewn stone, but I like to think like at least the first level of the castle is, and then it's like the rest is like built on top of like a natural. So it might be a little damp in here because of the river, but
Yeah,
so it
I
might be a
think
little humid.
Nave leans in and just says, "There's issues with moisture in this fiefdom."
There's issues with moisture in this entire fucking kingdom. It is foggy all the time. It's like it won't even fucking rain. It's just like the fog just sits there.
It's
I
like-
don't understand.
Treat it like ambiance.
It's
Yeah.
vibes.
Play some fucking music for ambiance.
That's a good idea.
That was-
Reggie,
oh my god.
Did Heloise bring Reggie?
Heloise brought Reggie and only Reggie.
Okay.
Reggie's also a druid canonically, so it doesn't have any like specific musical ability, I have to assume. But like Neve is just like, Reggie will make music happen.
I feel like it's hanging
Unexplained.
around in Heloise's fiefdom. Reggie's picked up on some of their music for
I will say
funerals.
follow the order of druids. Bard is the next step up from druid, so if he's working his way up, he's gonna
Ooh, how dare
learning
you say
music.
something so controversial yet so brave? The druids are a light are gonna come for you.
be. Okay, that's D&D druid. I'm talking the order of druids, which is a real thing.
Yeah.
Let's not get there.
They might also come for you.
They might also, but I am a druid, so there you go.
It's true.
So y'all gather in the space, and Gwendolyn, you explain to the group what your sort of journey was and what you were told to find the woman to bless the sword. And
Magic
yeah,
pig?
you are told.
Yes.
Sorry?
I will also. Oh,
A giant magic pig?
Yes. Boar.
Okay.
She's not. She's not very forthcoming on details in general.
I don't think Farouk is in search of details. I think he's still stuck on them.
She will also tell them all of the details that she remembered from her father in case something happens that she forgets. Um, Due to the nature of what they're doing, it is like she thinks it might be possible that she just might forget because that's just
Mhm.
how magic works. So she will tell each of them so that they all know in case something happens. Who knows? So. I don't know how many bristles she has, but I think she'll also distribute 2 bristles to everybody. Not to lose them, in case something happens to her, she doesn't want to be the only one who has them and then she vanishes, because that would be a problem.
Mhm.
What
And
a
you hold these. I'm
lovely,
not responsible enough for this.
Or
yeah,
you need them.
maybe. What a lovely gift. I will treasure it always.
We need them for yeah, she doesn't know how many bristles, but like she was instructed multiple of them, so everybody gets 2.
Yeah.
Anything
Um,
else?
Yeah, as
Okay, that's all I
explained,
got.
just to touch on the boar bristles, it needed to be hairs from a sacred animal. So this works as your boar was sacred to your family. You need to hold them in your palm and blow the bristle into the gate, which you described as was described to you is sort of this wound collection of root and branch and ivy that creates a circle. I guess like a moon door in other terms, but
Yeah.
like a circular structure of nature. But you're supposed to blow them through the portal so it sort of enacts magic that would help you bring you to the woman that's supposed to bless this sword.
We should maybe do that then, not to like hurry us along, but we've got a lot of steps in this plan, and I'm going to forget some of them before we get there. So we should
Yes.
like stay ahead of my memory, is all I'm saying.
Yes.
You know we can write it down, right?
That sounds like a lot of effort. Reggie,
I will write it down. Neith.
I'm not certain. I mean, I am optimistic that we will not lose me, but
for
this
someone
is
who's
in
optimistic about it,
case.
you've brought up the possibility several times in the last few minutes.
It's insurance. It would be terrible if we could not finish it. So
Well, I mean, you being dead would be terrible for a multitude of reasons, but yes, that would be one of the reasons. Is there a specific reason you feel like you're going to die? Should we take a moment to like get to the heart of this?
no, it
Weren't
is
you just saying that
simply.
there were a lot of steps and we should hurry ahead?
I forgot. It was like 2 minutes ago.
We're
After
not
this,
gonna
you
let
should
you
just
die.
probably.
You're way too small. Don't worry about it.
After this, you should go visit my fiefdom. We have people to talk to about that. Anyways.
It's just for pragmatic plan purposes.
Oh, pragmatically, my sister has already been told everything to do in case I die during this. So
I mean, they'll work it out, is my attitude, right? Like, if I die, they'll, like, Ghosty will take over. It'll be fine. So,
genuinely speaking, is Ghosty the heir to your fiefdom?
are you asking Jilly or are you asking Neve?
Both.
Neve says yes. Jilly says maybe.
The family says otherwise.
I would say the GM will probably have opinions, but
Look, I'm glad we're all having a great time discussing whether we may or may not die, but my husband is stuck in the Feywild right now.
Yeah.
So if you could maybe
Gwendolyn has
move
been
on
like
towards
looking at
things.
Farouk like,
I was trying to get us to go. We should go. We should go to the place and do the thing.
Always just starts walking to her horse.
Yes, your squires have all packed your horses well. If you wish to bring any additional men or any other people with you, you can. Otherwise, they can be safe here in Gwendolyn's fiefdom or returned to their own. So, would anyone like to bring anybody with them before you 100% go off?
I would like to bring a bard and anybody who would be what would the word be? Like somebody who's like scout-ish, not for the purposes of scouting, but if something happens to us, they would be likely to get back.
Okay, I'll say since you have the rapport with that hunter that helped you on this
Yeah.
on your boar quest, He's easy enough to bring in, and he's familiar with your fiefdom. So that would be your safest bet.
Yeah, just for like if a calamity happens to us, I want somebody who would get back so that they would know that something had happened to us and not be waiting up for months.
Okay.
Farouk is not interested in planning things or being in charge of things or really in anything except stabbing anyone who gets between him and rescuing Nasir. So if Ryan thinks they should bring people, Ryan thinks they should bring people. He's not gonna argue about that. But I think his main priority was packing a bunch of food, so that Nasir is not hungry when they rescue him.
All right. So Ryan does bring at least 2 other individuals who can help with like camp setup and carrying the additional supplies, just to make sure there's enough food and fresh clothes from Nasir's closet. Okay.
I'm gonna say Heloise looks at Reggie and tells him that he can stay back if he would like to, but she's not gonna make him join her. You know, that it was enough to just make sure she was okay this far.
I mean, do you want to be going alone with Squirrel?
I mean, that's a good point. He should stay back too. I'm not allowed to leave my squire here, am I?
Squires usually go with their knights.
Do I want to be going alone? No. Do I want anyone else to get hurt? No. And if anything happens to me, Isol's going to need a lot of help with teaching magic to others, with running the fiefdom, and you're familiar with our fiefdom now. Like, I would like to have you with me, but I also do not want you to feel obligated to follow me just because I'm the lady of your new fiefdom.
I mean, I can at least see you as far as I need to see you, right?
Of course. You can if you want to. Like, I'm not good at this, so...
He just sort of nods his head and then goes to like stand beside your horse.
Take that as he's coming. Okay. Get some.
All right. And Neve, so we got, of course, we have Ghosty and we have Elf. Was there anyone else you want to bring with you?
I think I brought assorted soldiers because once again, Neve not the strongest of humans, so likes to bring people who fill that need. Also like a lore person, although so I brought more lore people last time because we didn't have Gwendolyn because I was like trying to in some way compensate. But I think this time I brought lore people who are like very specifically like Fae oriented knowledge people. Hopefully I fixed my captions. Yes, okay. My captions are fixed for the 4th time. Shout out to Pixels Chat. But yeah, so I brought some people who can lift things and hit things. And I brought some people who know things. And I brought my horse, who is an angel. And Alf, who is Alf.
Of course. All right. So you have all prepared all the things you need from food, supply. Oh, hand up.
I totally forgot what I did in the glory section. So can I say that Heloise told the soldiers to stay home, and then Elaine and Isle sent the soldiers to follow her, and she just doesn't know they're there yet?
Okay, secret, stealthy individuals following.
Yeah.
Marking that. All right. So, with everything sorted, you all set out. Dame Gwendolyn leading the way as she knows exactly what she has to do, which is get lost in the woods.
Like, she's not gonna like explain that part. She's gonna leave out like the get lost part because she thinks
yeah.
everybody's gonna freak out about that part. She's like, yeah, I totally know where we're going. And then she's gonna get everybody lost on purpose. You can all feel the type of way about that, but she's not gonna explain
He
it.
knows that she's getting lost on purpose, and he just kind of looks at her and then just doesn't say anything.
Yeah. So, following instructions and Gwendolyn's lead, you all wander the woods, and it feels like it's taking time. It was explained that the best point of time to find this gate is when night falls and a full moon is risen. And luckily, luck is on your side for this, as there is a bright, almost harvest moon hanging low in the sky.
Neve very specifically asks Gwendolyn to confirm that Night Falls is spelt with an N and not a KM.
It is, my dear.
Just checking.
She's very confused by this question. It's like,
You know, the Fae are sneaky. Sometimes they want things that we don't even fathom. Like the time that they tricked me twice into falling into a river. And she explains this to Farouk. You know, twice, actually, the Fae tricked me into falling into a river, and it looked like it was
Yeah,
just because
that's
I'm
not the
clumsy.
way I've heard that story.
Where did you hear that story?
It was a very long ride here, and Ryan and I have not spoken in months, and he told me a lot of shit. And what I heard is you walked directly into a river twice, and my
Because
husband had
the
to kick you out.
Fae obscured the river so that I fell in. Okay?
I was not there for that, so I can't say anything.
I also was
happened.
not there for that.
When I was a child, whenever I lost something, or often whenever Ryan lost things, because mostly Ryan lost things and then I took the blame for it. But I would say that the gin had taken it. You know how many times that got me out of trouble? Never, not once, not even
I'm sorry,
one
I
time.
fell in a river. There were no djinn involved in falling in the river, just the Fae who were trying to actively stop us from seeking out our you know what? I don't have time for this right now. Ghosty, let's go ahead.
This is in character. He's eating an apple.
Yes.
Off Neve, of all people.
All right. So I'm just gonna set a little activity number here, because it's fun and we need some fun action die rolling here. It's gonna be pretty easy. On a scale of we'll say 10. You're still in the woods at night, trying to get this magical gate door to appear before you. Let me mark that track on my end. And then we can figure out some rules here. So as you're all, whether knowingly or unknowingly, attempting to get lost in these woods following the instructions you were given, I want you to think about your knight's intentions and what you're hoping to get here. You do know your quest. You've been asked to get this sword blessed, but is that all that you are thinking of in these moments?
The answer is yes, because Neve is very goal-oriented right now. So Neve is just like, we do the next thing on the list, we accomplish the thing, then we move on to the next thing, which she can't quite remember right now, but she's certain that someone will remind her.
Farouk is still like, he hasn't had a body in a really long time, so he's like kind of itchy and uncomfortable, and he's also looking at the moon and thinking about the songs Nasir used to sing to the moon, but thinking about that makes him want to punch things, so then he just goes back to eating his apple. And he's also like hasn't seen Ryan in ages, so I think he's just like chatting with Ryan in like a very soft, let's not, you know, awaken the creatures in the woods with our incessant conversation.
Okay.
I think Heloise is mainly thinking about her family back in her fiefdom. Um, Thinking about her sister and her grandmother and her cousin. And she knows that, Izzle will do a good job taking care of the fiefdom if anything happens. Um, Also, just kind of remembering that vision from or just remembering that moment when um, Izzle had started running towards her when she was running away from um, the creature in the battle, and kind of just thinking about how much she doesn't want to leave her family behind.
Gwendolyn is thinking like very much like this is the thing that like this is what she's contributing to this quest. And even though earlier she was like anything else is a bonus, like this is like the first thing that she's doing while she's like she feels like she's now properly like heir to the family now that she has like her axe and everything and like her approval. So it's like she's thinking very much like, oh goodness, I have to do well. I have to do so well here. I have to do so much better than anything I've done before because she's proven herself a little bit. So like she needs to do so well right now in her head.
All right. So I am going to ask you to roll some dice here for actions. So for Neve, you can roll a d10. For Farouk, you can roll a d6. And this is based on how focused you are. So Neve is very focused. Farouk, you're being kind of like lost in what everything is going on. So it's hard to figure out like what you're supposed to do. Understandable. Heloise, you get a d10. And Gwendolyn, you get a d12. So if you can roll your dice and drop numbers for me, please.
I rolled a 5.
I got a 6.
Sweet.
Oh god, I got a 3.
I got a 9.
Oh, very well done. Okay.
Those
So
were not bad
focused.
rolls, though.
Molasses.
Gina's wasn't great, but it was not.
It's that thing where you're like so focused on doing the thing, you forgot to do the thing.
Yeah. Right. You
Makes
definitely
sense.
broke the activity number because it's just an activity number of 5. Or not 5, 10.
I was like, that is a really low activity.
That was really low. No, it was 10. So as you all just listen to the stillness of the woods, the soft rustling of leaf, the cold, crisp night air, and seeing just the very softest hint of like mist and dew on the ground around you. There's a moment where you all sort of just are walking in that silence, only hearing the footsteps of those walking on the ground and the hooves of your horses just sort of clip, clop, clip, clop. Once in a while, a breaking of a twig or a soft call of a night owl, just whoo, whoo, out into the night. But there's a moment where you swear you just see the large moon almost wink with a flash of color. And ahead of you, almost like you don't know how it got there, it just sort of was there and it feels like it was always there, is this rounded arch and all the trees sort of bending in and around it in sort of a dome way, creating a tunnel to this, what you can only assume must be the gate. It's just made of this twisting, rolling root and vine and twig all around, a good like 10-foot diameter, so very, very big. But it just sits there before you. There's no mist or fog around it like the rest of the wood. But it almost seems like the forest is now sort of cupping you around it.
Farouk leans over to Ryan and is like, that wasn't there a second ago, right?
Oh, I don't remember seeing that there.
I do not like this shit. Ugh.
Oh, you're about to see some shit, I think.
we have to like blow on the thing, right?
Yes, I think only one of us is do it. So I will.
Would you like me to read the poem again?
Yeah, I think. Okay, she will. She will take a second to like nerves and everything, and she'll try and remember what the poem is. And she will, after remember she was instructed, she will hold her breath for I think 3 seconds.
Yeah,
Right.
count of 3. Turning
then-
thrice in place,
yes.
counter.
Counter, like it'll take like she'll like take like hold her breath, and it'll take her a second to be like, wait, which way's counter? Okay, and then she'll 1, 2, 3. Okay. Oh god, I can't even read my notes. Yeah, and
Step
then
with heart first.
Okay. She will. I mean, I don't know what that means. I will assume she knows what that means. I'm really nervous.
Yeah, and then breach the gate and let not the whispers sway you.
She will basically do as instructed, really nervously, really haltingly. Yeah, I was just thinking if there's any other details. Yeah, that's what she will do. I'm
That's
really
the
nervous.
first step. Well, you all crushed the activity number, so. But as you do this, you blow the boar bristle hairs into the gate.
She might have to like blow twice for it. It's
So
like it's stuck in her head.
Just
It's like
sweaty palms.
it's like not at all glamorous actually. But if it were, it works, which is well, if it works.
Yeah, so as
That's
you
the important
watch
part.
the boar hair just sort of touch where that threshold is, you see a soft kind of glimmering flash of blue light. And it's just a moment of it as you begin to hold your breath for the count and turn in place. And then to your best ability, just go chest first, you're guessing, might be what it means. And then you remember your father telling you, keep your intentions true. Even the poem said to keep your intentions true. And you're just chest first and you walk into the gate.
She doesn't want anything other than for this to go right. That's it.
And for everyone else behind you, just see this sort of blue glimmer cast like a wash over Gwendolyn before disappearing as she takes a breath back. Now to everyone else, Gwendolyn's just on the other side. It just looks like forest. But to Dame Gwendolyn, you blink and you look forward and you just see this tunneled path and more gateways going down. And as you stand there, you are hearing very soft whisperings as though behind you, wanting you to turn around. They don't sound like anyone you know, but you hear like sort of like a turn around. Where you go? Wrong way.
She had no intention. Like, yeah, she was thinking of like calling to the others, and then she like almost, and then she hears like the voices behind her, and she's like, "Oh no, I'm supposed to." She's this close to forgetting, and then
Yeah. The line echoing in your head, stay true to path, eyes on the end, and you will find what you seek.
she's like, "Okay, you have to." She doesn't know if she doesn't know what's behind there because she hasn't turned around. She's just going to really loudly be like, "Okay, we need to just go forward and not listen to anything." Not sounding confident, guys, but like she would have told you this part before, but she's like reiterating it now. Like
All we went down at dinner.
Yeah.
All right, who follows?
I think Heloise would definitely just look at the others, like, have no idea what's going on outside what Gwendolyn said, but just follow and be like, okay, next step. Gwendolyn's got this.
if she hears somebody coming behind her, she'll take a slow steps forward to make space, but not like going ahead, just
Mhm.
making space.
Right. So a similar repeat for you, Lady Heloise, as you follow suit, remembering what the poem is that Gwendolyn relayed, following what Gwendolyn just did. You follow forth and you see that similar sight now that you've crossed the threshold of these multiple gates down this tunneled way in the woods, and you begin hearing those whispers trying to call you back.
Yeah, she's just definitely like, oh wow, okay. Um, forward, 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 forward. I'm gonna need a nap after this, but forward.
Right. And that leaves 2 nights still.
Farouk is just mutters, I hate this fucking face shit. And he goes through. And given that I rolled a 6 on a d6, I feel like I'm going to say, like, he does it perfectly. He does it a little alarmingly perfectly to the degree where you're like, oh, this guy spent a lot of time being tortured by creepy fae whispers, hasn't he? Like, he's just not phased at all.
Yep.
Okay, well, I guess we're going then. Ghosty, stay here. And Diva's just like, I guess this is happening.
All right.
I think Neve does, in fact, argue with the Fae Whispers, though. Like, I just don't think you're telling the truth.
The whispers don't so much react to what you are saying. They just keep echoing different things, like to turn back, to sort of discourage you as best they can from going forward or to go off the path.
Maybe we should take a moment to think about why you're so determined to force me off my path. Is there something in your life that is frustrating you, that is forcing you to act out in this way?
And the voices just keep softly nattering, trying to get attention elsewhere, anywhere but forward. Even trying to make suggestions of there is, a wild unicorn off to the right, things like that. For fun, can someone just roll me a d6? Just one person, d6.
Sure.
I feel like Neve, like, arguing has, like, helped a lot with how nervous Gwendolyn is.
Yeah. All right. So that roll was just to see where your luck was at as a group. Rolled a 4, so you're on the good side of luck. So very focused, everyone, while Neve is arguing, but you're all keeping to what you have learned from the poem to stay true to path and eyes forward. The last line of the poem saying, keep your desires in mind only, or speak only truth and be given what you need.
Question, did the squires stay behind?
Yes.
Okay, so one, Farouk definitely gave like Ryan a big hug and is like, you better not fucking be dead by the time I get back.
You better not disappear for the second time.
I make no promises.
Now I'm gonna have to be a knight.
You'd probably be better at it than either of us would, honestly. But yeah, also when he hears Neve like shit talking, or not shit, like trying to earnestly have a conversation with the whispers, he starts laughing. And is still like, by the time you get there, he's still just like, I can't believe you tried to get the Fae Whispers to talk about their feelings.
I thought it was worth a try, you know? Maybe no one has ever asked them before.
See why Nasir liked you.
To be fair, I don't think anyone ever would have thought to ask. I do think you have a point there.
I think Gwendolyn, keeping in mind that they need to like keep their their desires in mind here. I think she's going to be literally whispering under her breath, like, we need to get this sword blessed. We need to find, I can't remember what because I lost my notes, like if the woman had like a name or a title, but she will be like whispering this like out loud under her breath the entire time as she's like going to it, and like also trying to remember when Nasir told her to take deep breaths, trying not to hyperventilate. This time I don't think it's working, but that's what she's doing. Like, very, we need to get the sword blessed, we need to find her. We need to get the sword blessed, we need to find her. Like that, while she's going forward very slowly. She's not walking quickly, which is probably not helping anybody's nerves here, but she's not moving fast. Okay.
Yeah, you all are unsure whether it is merely moments of dealing with this or if it's hours. It is a weird sensation of just unknown time. There's no change in sky. The air seems still. And it almost seems, even in your periphery, as you keep your eyes forward, just the scenery seems to repeat and repeat and repeat, as though the space is testing you. In a moment where maybe you're about to be swayed by voices because you're just sick of dealing with them, of listening to them, or just for walking through these woods, needing a change of pace, eventually there's a break that happens before you, of the trees curling back, and you find yourselves entering almost like a picturesque little grove. There is bright colored flowers that are sort of swaying a little bit. At the center, there is a bright, sparkling pond, crystal clear and still like a mirror, reflecting moonlight from above. And across the way, you see a sort of a stone-made homestead, but it's more of just like it's built out of standing stones with trees, living trees sort of growing around it, creating this twisting structure of a home. And sitting across the way by the pond, you see a woman, more mature. So she has some wrinkles sort of setting in, but she has very, very long curling hair that sort of reaches down to the ground, and a very mix of like the light makes it looks silver and shimmering, but you catch other hues of like deep blacks and inky blues. She has pale skin but dark eyes, sort of a deep brown, and she's just sort of weaving some sort of, you're not sure if it's just garment or if it's fabric, but she's loosely weaving something together on her lap, wearing a very sort of gauzy, layered tunic of linen in grays and soft blues. She's there humming as she's weaving thread back and forth. And without even looking up, she's just like, "Oh, so you finally got here. That is good. Fate has been running very, very quickly. You're about to run out of time, actually." And that is where we're going to go to break. So, as we all take a breath for this fun beginning of the end, let us all take a roughly 10 to 15 minute break, I think, in order for us to get rehydrated, refill all of our mugs or cups or whatever you need to keep yourself thirsty, or not thirsty, hydrated. We don't want to be thirsty. That's the opposite. As well as getting our stretches in, any medications as one needs, and relax a little bit. We found our goal here for our first of goals, which is to meet this lady. And we'll see what that leads to. So again, hope you're all enjoying the story with us. So let us go on break, and we'll see you in roughly 10-ish minutes. BRB, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you had a good break. Hope you remembered to hydrate, take medications, do what you need to do to look after yourself. And speaking of looking after oneself, our knights, as we return to our story here, have made it from the weird, fey, whispery tunnels and gates into this sort of grove space. The woman there weaving some sort of garment in front of her, and without even so much as a head raise, acknowledged the group, saying, "Oh, so you finally made it."
Yes. Hello. I mean, I suppose you already know what we're here for. She will walk in like a dead straight line. Like, um, she's not gonna even like. She's still like nervous about it. She won't even like turn to see if the other's fine. She's like, we have a well, not me, but we have a sword that needs to be blessed.
Yes, I'm familiar. Please relax, dear, as she's like putting away her weaving project and sort of gets up and pats down her dress. And as she she's now standing, you see she takes like a full 6'5" height. She's like, yes, I'm quite familiar. I've seen through the waters, as I know, Dame Gwendolyn, you are aware of divinations of such ways.
This does not make her feel better. At least does not make her feel more relaxed. It's just like,
And she gazes to the other three knights. So I see we have Lady Neve, Lady Heloise, and a more new returning soul, I suppose, Farouk. Welcome to my little space here, my grove. Who is carrying the sword?
Heloise just takes the sword out and curtsies and presents it.
So it's quite some trouble getting this, I believe I saw. It was a little misty. It was hard to get good sights on the whole situation. Also, sometimes I get flashes of things happening at the same time. It's hard to separate it all, but my understanding is you might be dealing with that binding on the tree, yes? And she picks up the sword and just sort of stands there for a moment looking it over. And she tosses it right into the pond. All right, well, for the binding, very important because it is breaking and it's about to release a very dangerous soul into the realm. Not a good thing. And she starts walking back around and takes a seat. But sorry, getting a vision for a second here. It will take a moment. Hang on. And she looks over the water. I need all of you because the initial binding was done by one person. So I'll need all of you to gaze into the lake. Think about the intentions you are wishing to do here. And just focus on binding that tree, that dark entity that's trying to pull out. It makes the ritual a little more potent if the ones who are going to deliver the binding put their essence into it.
So just stare anywhere in particular?
Because at this moment, there's no choice. Otherwise, you can walk back and watch Avalon turn into a black shadow. It will definitely give you a better chance. She sort of pauses as her eyes flip for a second. It's like, oh. Yeah, Nasir is fine. And she goes back to like gazing to the pond.
So are we supposed to stare anywhere specific or just like generally? Is this like a focus thing or just, you know, a vibe?
She gestures to the water, and when you look into it, you do see the pond is like crystal clear and perfectly still, like a mirror, other than the soft ripples from the initial throwing of the blade into it. But you do see it just resting there at the bottom.
Okay.
All right. Oh, you're muted?
My bad. Like, may I? Like, and she sort of like gestures as if to like put a hand out to like touch the surface of the water. I find it helps.
Oh, of course. Do what you need to do. That makes it easier for you.
Okay. And then, yeah, she will like she's used to sitting by the water and like looking into it, and she will like not exactly but like just above the water. She'll hold her hand as if to like touch it, but stopping just a hair short.
Right. I want everyone to give me a wit check. So that's a d20, and you want to roll below your wit.
But I'm so witty. The struggle is real.
I will say you have Maiden's Blessing from the woman, the spirit that you met in the fiefdom of Heloise, which will grant you, but only once, to change the outcome to be a pass.
Can I ask a question?
Mm.
Is this a meets it beats it situation?
Yeah, I rolled exactly the same.
Yeah, I also rolled exactly my
I
way.
rolled 1 under my wit.
Congratulations.
We're a witty
Me.
bunch, y'all.
Let me converse the book, unless Mark's in chat to quickly throw it out there.
Mark, help us, Mark. Mark.
You just
Mark.
hear
Right here.
three of our knights start uttering the name Mark. And Heloise is about to, and she just goes, though.
If we roll the same as our wit, Mark, is it a pass or a fail, Mark?
If the roll is equal to or below.
Okay.
Okay, we're
Okay, equal to or below. We found the answer. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, Mark says pass. Thank you, Mark.
I wish there was, but I've been in a lot of games lately where some of them are like, no, you have to be
Yeah.
below.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
We win, but only just.
Only just. It
We're just
it is
babies.
odd. Because you're like immediately having to trust what this stranger is saying to you, with only maybe Dame Gwendolyn putting her full faith into this. The rest of you, it's up to you how you feel. But you're very much trying to follow that lead, and you see upon the surface of the water that moonlight glow, sort of just hazily sitting there, beaming through as the water begins to ripple a little bit and sort of gets that light ray of rippling water across the blade underneath. And you do hear this woman singing, but the language is not one you're heard of, but for those of familiar with lore here in Avalon, and maybe Farouk may have heard it where he was, as it is a very old language. But she begins singing in a very soft, ringing voice, and sort of just circling around all of you as you're paying attention into this water. And as you watch and keep your focus, for a moment, it's almost like a kind of that, what's the right word? Almost like a splitting where you're seeing double images, where there's like the sword, but there's another image of the sword and like a blue color, another image of the sword and like a pink color, and sort of shifting and rippling in the water. And then behind you, Dame Gwendolyn, you feel the woman put a hand on your shoulder. She's like, take a breath and reach for it, and dunks you in.
Oh God. Gwendolyn like would have like inhaled in surprise before she's got like a she's like kind of she's gonna just kind of be like reaching around because she was not prepared for this. She was not really. Yeah, she's gonna try, but she also has a lung full of water, so we don't know how good that's happening.
Well, if you want to make a roll for it, we can.
I would have said that because they were supposed to be focusing on it, it's up, but I'm just gonna roll a d6 because I just said she's super surprised.
Yeah, it's not too hard.
Wait, is this
Ba, 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 ba.
is it a check or is it a activity number?
I think this would be a check because
Okay.
you're not, it's only like a single action we're doing here, and there's a risk
Okay.
you could swallow a bunch of water.
Yeah. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on. What were the stats?
So you can roll wit, which includes agility, or prowess, which is like technique and accuracy. Or if you want to roll vigor for holding your breath as an endurance
that's what
thing.
I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. Which is also my, I think, worst stat. No, it's not. Okay. Yeah, but vigor just for. Oh God, what is that? Oh, that is a 4. And my vigor is a 10. So I rolled
All right.
under it.
Very well done. So yeah, in that initial surprise, you manage to just breathe in enough air before you feel your face meet the water. And it is very cooling and refreshing. You're used to sort of the pond water of your home, but this feels almost like a spring water of sorts, more clear and clean. But you hold your breath and quickly reach for the blade. I see some folks want to do actions here as this happens. What do y'all want doing as you see sort of the woman whisper something to Gwendolyn and then her sort of like getting Gwendolyn into the water face first?
It doesn't happen elegantly either.
No. Oh, you're muted. You're muted?
Oh, sorry. Does it seem like she's doing okay, or does it like how at risk of drowning does she appear to be?
Yeah, the pool water is not deep. So when you see Gwendolyn sort of get that face first dive in, you see her hand reaching for the blade right away. Like, even though she was surprised before her face disappears in the water, she knew exactly whatever the woman told her. She reached immediately for the blade to come back up.
Okay, cool. So, because if it looked like she was drowning, he would have fully jumped in.
Yeah.
So Farouk has been focusing fairly hard on his intention, but his intention is very much save Nasir as opposed to save Avalon. But when that happens, he like turns to the woman and is like, "What the fuck did you just do?"
I like to think like it doesn't look like flailing drowning. Like it's more like if she's flailing a bit, but it's like when you're kind of like patting around for an object, like in the dark, sort of flailing.
And the woman doesn't say anything in reaction as Gwendolyn comes back up, and you all watch as the sword looks like it's brand new, as though it was made that day. So any rust on the iron is just completely gone, and it has this gleaming, almost silver platinum glow to it. And it's sort of washing over Gwendolyn too, as that moonlight is dancing across her.
She just does not look like this is great. Like it's very like this is great, but she also kind of looks like a drowned cat. Like she's a lot of hair, so it's like I got it.
Farouk like rushes over and is like, "Are you okay? You
I'm
all
good.
there?" And he's
I'm
like
good.
checking in her eyes, making sure that she's like all there.
I'm good. I mean,
Okay.
the haunted look is how it always looks. I'm sorry. It's
Louise
how it
is also going to, as someone with like medical stuff, take a look over Gwendolyn.
Would you like a towel? I brought an extra towel just in case.
I'm just being dramatic.
As soon as Farouk sees other people are on top of this, he steps back and pretends he doesn't care.
Valid.
Who's gonna take it?
Oh, I could take it. And Neve takes it. and is not like the tallest or strongest, but can wield a sword. Like she's trained. But she's like very preoccupied with like holding it off to the side while she hands towels to Gwendolyn. Um, you might want to wrap your hair. Just it's gonna get all.
Why do
You
you
know.
have that many towels?
It's best to be prepared. I reintegrate my survival kit every time we go out on an adventure, and I've noted that towels are often something that we do not have enough of. Always
Is
take
this
your
because you
towel.
keep walking into rivers?
I'm not going to dignify that with a response, but you very well know that that was the Fae's fault and it was not my fault. And then I think she turns. Is the woman? Is the woman still there? The woman's not there still, right?
You saw her push Gwendolyn in, and then as you all rushed over to make sure Gwendolyn was okay, the woman's no longer where she was. She sort of is now beside one of the arched gateways, and she is sitting again, weaving fabric.
I just want to clarify to you, because you don't know me very well, that I did not fall in the river because I'm clumsy, and it was the Fae that did it. Thank you.
I did not hear that you were clumsy. I heard that you got distracted by a shiny thing.
It's not that this is not relevant to the current conversation.
Mm-hmm.
The Fae.
And Farouk definitely, like, even as he's snarking, has one eye on the Fae, like, at all times. Like, he is either watching her suspiciously out of the corner of his eye or directly death glaring at her, and has been this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Except when having to look into the water.
And she seems just completely aloof and unperturbed by anything that's going on. It's like this is just life for her. But she glances up from her weaving as she's now sitting beside the gate and smiles like, seemed to have worked. You all did very well there. Got a little iffy, but good job. Always impressed by mortals.
Thanks.
All right. Well, like I said, we're starting to run out of time. The threads of fate's pulling, and well, I heard the Morrigan sort of chirping her crows away. Right. You have a lot of ground to cover, so and she flourishes her hand, and you see the gate where around it is still forest, but through it you just see mist, as though it is just fog pouring across and through it. May need to get to your destination quite swiftly, I think.
Yeah. Making sure everybody goes in ahead of her. She doesn't like everybody seems so fighty, so it's like you should all go first to make sure none of you are picking fights behind her back.
So, a question for Sophia. Mm-hmm. Is there any little trinket that would have meant something for Nasir? Like if there was like a bracelet that he may have had, or like a little like statuette or anything.
Yeah, he probably had prayer beads. Okay. In fact, he's probably had his husband's prayer beads this whole time.
All right. So as you all prepare to pass through, the woman does look to you. And again, she still just has that warm, smiling face. It's like, I think he needs something to reach out to him at some point. And she holds out her hand, closed fist to you.
What do you want me to open your fist or something? Just show me what it is.
I want to drop it in your hand. And as you just throw your hand out, she drops, and you see a very bright, almost pearlescent white bead.
Where did you get this?
I think someone you know wants you to know that they are okay. They know what they need to do. And you will know what you need to do.
He just kind of storms off. He's not having a feelings conversation with this woman. He refuses. But he's holding on to it very tightly.
told you through, or you for best be off. And she, you almost feel like a bit of a wind that's trying to pull you through this gate. And if you all choose to go on forth without any other words, you can pass on through.
Gwendolyn will curtsy in her sopping wet cape. Very honored. Yeah. Just very tired at this point.
Yeah.
Exhausted.
Oh dear, you will do some very fine divination soon.
Thank you. Goes off. Not very elegant. Just never
Farouk,
very
I think,
elegant.
is like actively keeping an eye on both Gina and Neve, because I mean he is again like twice their size, and has some of the same Papa Bear instincts that Nasir did. I think he's not worried about Heloise. I think he's like, yeah, I don't know that lady's name, but she can handle herself.
Neve has been given a new instruction and so is going to proceed to that goal until actively impeded in some way. So she goes back through and is like, Ghosty, I missed you so much. Let me tell you all about what just happened.
All right, cool. So if there's no other words passed, you all go through the gate, through the fog, and very, very quickly you realize you're no longer in the woods anymore. As Neve calls her words to Ghosty, there is no Ghosty there to greet her. There is no one there to greet you. As the fog not so much goes away as it sort of just lightens a little bit.
If we get fast traveled, I think we could just got fast traveled.
Going to add soaked to my traits right now.
Yep. Gwendolyn, very quickly the vision of the past reaches your mind as you see what is before you. A very fog-covered valley. In the distance, barely seen, is this tall hill and a mass of tree. It's spidering branches reaching up like curling fingers, and as you take it in, you realize it's a lot bigger than what you remember from your vision, and it's as though it is splitting down the middle of its main trunk, as though the branches are trying to turn into these multi-fingered hands to break itself apart. And you see on the ground just these swirls of black ichor that you remember being on that revenant just starting to splinter out in fractals as though staining the earth. It is very cold here, and yet you smell something sulfuric that can only come from very hot places.
Okay. I'm trying to think of what the plan of action here is. See, Gwendolyn is very much like, oh god, I gotta think of more stuff. I thought my part here was done. No, she's not. She's not like that. She is very like, oh gosh, I have to do more thinking steps. Oh no. Oh god. I don't know if anybody else wants to do that while she's like, oh.
Gwendolyn?
You okay there?
Yeah, I didn't realize I had to come up with more stuff to do. Oh no.
Did you just have a vision?
Yeah.
So to clarify, you're all here.
Oh, we're all
Yeah.
here. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god, that smells like shit. Why do you have to come up with? Well, actually, I really don't want to come up with the stuff to do. So that sounds great.
Can I like help you? I don't know.
Please.
how,
Please.
but I did. It's so.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I thought it would be like more straightforward.
So
But
what
there's
is
like things and there's It's a lot bigger than I thought it would be.
My mom told me that when I get like overwhelmed by things, I should think about what the next step is. So, like let's break this down. What's the next step?
Gotta
You
get-
hear this as though it's a snapping of chain that creaks before the sudden break somewhere in the space.
So I think we need to get over there first.
Okay, we could do that.
But then you have all the weird, gesturing vaguely at the ground.
Well, I mean, we're gonna have to go over there at some point, right?
Yeah.
Eloise just kind of reaches her hand out towards Gwendolyn.
Okay. Okay. I'm not sure. Maybe. Okay. Is there like an obvious path, or is this just like all like?
Yeah, I mean, there's spots to sort of dart along and like step over the different like kind of paths of Icar that are there. I'll say to your recollection, because it's been a while.
Yes, it has been.
Been a while. You recall in your vision that this tree, and the whole reason why you were getting this blade
Yes.
is that this tree had a blade stuck into
Yeah,
it. It was mentioned it was used to bind a dark entity
Yes.
into it.
I remember.
So once that thought reaches your mind, you do look ahead. And it's hard at this distance to know if the sword is still in there, but you have your concerns.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw out an activity number, as this is going to be a problem to solve.
Yes.
And it's going to be a doozy. We're going to do 25.
Oof.
As this is a very massive tree, and you can hear almost a surreal heartbeat as you slowly approach it.
I assume the goal here, based on what I remember, is we gotta stick the sword back into whatever hole the original one was in.
So what are we doing exactly in terms of, I'm not sure what dice I should be rolling. Is this just the activity number for getting there or for?
So this is the activity numbers for this whole part of the quest.
Okay.
So to finish your binding on this tree, you roll anywhere from your D4 to D12 as part of your actions. But if you take any risks, that's when you have to roll a D20 to see if you pass or not. And then not being able to pass, you suffer consequences and loss of endurance.
Let's stab a tree.
Who has the sword again? Neve does, right?
Neve has
Okay.
the sword.
And when we bind it, that's when, well, if things are the same that they were last time, that should be when Farouk can get Nasir out.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
From what I
Well,
recall.
let's stab a fucking tree, I guess. Ugh, Nasir would have hated that.
He did not
He
enjoy
really,
I mean,
he
to be
got
fair-
so. You don't know this because you weren't here, but last time we stabbed a tree, he was like so mad about it.
We also did burn it.
We did.
Hey,
In front of him?
It was a
And
bad
we didn't
tree.
know him. We didn't know, and we were trying to make sure that they couldn't come after the villagers.
To be
anymore.
fair, the tree was like evil.
Well, it was inhabited by evil, and we had to make sure that it wouldn't feed off of people again.
It was a bad tree.
That was his first part of the quest with us.
I am going to roll a D10.
Okay, explain to me what you're doing here.
Gwendolyn, who is kind of freaking out, so it's not exactly as efficient as she could be. This has been part of her vision. And after taking, squeezing Heloise's hand a little bit, has calmed down enough to be like, okay, we've seen vaguely, like, I know what I'm doing, in theory, which is good enough, and is going to try and do the same thing of like, this basically the same process of like how she had gotten through the woods and like how we had gotten this sword list of like we need to just focus on what our intention is here and focus on what it is we desire to get done and simply like just think really hard and focus on that and try and just make her way toward the tree and hopefully through like this was also like how she had like tried to find her boar also it's like okay we've practiced this a lot if we can just focus and then we can be alert and we will know what it is and where we are supposed to go. She's a little freaked, so not as efficiently as she could be, so it's a d10.
Okay.
That's
Roll
what
it.
I'm gonna do. Do I trust this one? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's go.
Watch this be so bad. Watch this be so bad. Oh my god, that's a 3. I've rolled so many 3s. Anyway, it is a 3.
All right.
Where did it go? Oh, here it is.
So you begin to focus in your intentions, reminding yourself you've practiced this, you've done this many times now, and sort of creating that mantra in your head, watching for where your feet are going at the same time. But it's taking you very slow steps to make your
Yeah.
way forward as you hear kind of a guttural, unworldly hiss
Oh no.
as you see just like the branches twitch and try and break, and a soft crimson glow just peeking through different breaks in the bark of the tree.
Draw her axe. Nothing's come at her yet.
Not
She
yet.
has her axe, just in case.
Yep.
Okay.
I think Neve is gonna like take big steps for Neve, which are not like big steps for other people, and kind of like work her way towards it with the sword and be like, should we be like close together or far apart, or is there like a ritual process for this? Or
I don't know.
okay, so I'm gonna approach
Maybe I'll follow you and Farouk follows me and we focus on the tree and he can focus on Nasir. Does that sound good? Like a plan to
Yeah,
you,
you gotta-
Farouk?
Yeah, sure. Plan. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it feels like if a gate is going to open, it's going to be tree centric, right?
Yeah.
The tree is the portal, so we got to get close. So I'm gonna try and get real close to the tree.
All right.
I'm also gonna get close to the tree.
You have to roll some dice.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
Yeah,
I'm
what
gonna
am I roll a thing?
send one up to the Morrigan.
Yeah. All right. Let me see here. Wonder if I should get you to do a check with your activity number. Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. Give me, for those who are being careful about their approach, give me a wit, and then we'll also roll your activity number, which you're all fairly prepared. So I'd say you can roll either a D8 or a D12 if you wish to argue higher.
I'm gonna say D12 because the Morrigan is with me.
Yeah.
So I
see
don't think
no-
Farouk is being careful necessarily. So I don't know if a wit check is what would happen here. I would also
Okay.
argue for a D12 just because like he is so intensely focused and cares so much about this. But I'm
Yeah.
not sure about the save. I don't think he's being careful.